Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome, welcome. I am very excited, as I always am on these evenings, to have a special guest. So we're just going to wait just a minute or so, Cynthia, before we actually get started. Let people get a chance to log on. So for those that are joining us, if you're watching the recording, we thank you for joining us. There is a link for those who are going to pop in. Right above the post, it says, or right in the post, it says StreamYard. If you click on that, we'll be able to see your name. So we hope that you will give us your name. You click on that and tell StreamYard, give them permission. So we'll just wait a couple minutes. Hello, everyone. Let us know who's here. If you want to give us your name or give us where you're from and say hi to Cynthia. We're going to start in just a couple minutes. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, thank you. It's a great day to be here, and I'm so excited to get started. Again, if you're just joining us, click the link above this in StreamYard. If you're on the Fans of Unsung page, you need to be on there for us to see your comments. And give StreamYard permission to show your name. Okay? And tell us who's here, where you're from. So we'll just wait a couple minutes. I'm very excited. And we're going to have a special guest with us, a special surprise guest that's going to join us for a little while. So I'm going to go ahead and give my formal introduction. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining our virtual chat. I'm so excited. We have in my eyes, a journalist legend with us this evening. Our friend that we've known for years, behind the scenes in a magazine we all love. I'd like to welcome editor of RightOn Magazine and RightOn Digital, Miss Cynthia Horner. Welcome, Cynthia.
Hello, how are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence this evening.
Oh, you're welcome.
As the founder of our page, Fans of Unsung, Luther says, you are journalist royalty to us. So.
Hi, Luther.
She'll be popping in here in just a minute. Thank you so much for joining us. I am so excited to have you. I mean, I can't tell you how many RightOn magazines I had on my walls growing up. So, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. So we are super excited. Has anyone posted? I don't see any posts. Hang on one second, Cynthia. Let me see what's going on here. I want to make sure we can see some posts here. We are excited to have you. I can't wait to get officially started. I just want to check something out and see what's going on with the post. I guess everybody's being quiet right now because it is showing. So, yeah, okay. So we will. I see Vernon is here. Thanks, Vernon, for joining us. It's not showing. Oh, there we go. So make sure they're starting to come in now. Make sure you hit StreamYard so we can see your name. I don't see your name, Vernon. I clicked over, so make sure you hit that and let us know where you're from as well. I know Vernon is in New York. So let's go ahead and get started. We got a few people here. We're going to go ahead and start because we got a lot to talk about. I'm so excited. So Cynthia, if you could just tell everybody starting off how this journey of being a journalist in entertainment started for you. So take us back to the beginning and how it all started.
How far back do you want me to go?
Well, tell me what made you know you wanted to be a journalist? Where did that start?
Oh, okay. By then I was 11 years old.
Oh, wow.
I'd been writing since I was 6. I started reading when I was 3. And I liked books so much that I just wanted to go further with it. And so I started writing. By age 11, I was the editor of my school newspaper, and I got to interview our school principal. And at that point, I definitely knew that I wanted to go into journalism. I just didn't really know what that word meant until high school. In high school, I worked on the school newspaper. I worked on the yearbook. I was involved with our local newspaper, writing articles about what was going on at our school. So all this led to me getting accepted to Pepperdine University, Malibu, California, which was near our home. And they had a great journalism department, which is why I wanted to go there. And as soon as I started working on the school newspaper there. I started getting involved with the magazine, the yearbook, and all that. And when I
Okay.
graduated in like less than 4 years, I was able to get a job as an assistant at RightOn Magazine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about the magazine too much, and I knew that I liked the music, but I had to get up to speed on what artists were going in the magazine. And then I became the editor, and I was told, if you want to be the editor, you've got to get along with Michael Jackson.
Oh,
And Michael
okay.
came to the office, and we got along perfectly, so perfectly that his family wanted me to start visiting him at his
Wow.
home on the weekends. And that's how my career took off. So my career is totally tied in with the Jacksons. And it's just been a nonstop whirlwind journey ever since. I've never left journalism for 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute in my whole life.
Wow. That's pretty awesome. I mean, right off the bat, that was like the beginning of it. You were already Michael was the beginning.
Right, right. Yeah, he
Wow.
was, because the Jacksons were very important to RightOn Magazine. They were on all the covers. They were the reason the magazine started. So anybody that was going to work on that magazine had to have a lot of interaction with the Jacksons. So therefore, it was very important to be very professional and to not do anything that would embarrass the company or anything of that nature. So I did my best, and it worked out, and I'm still in contact with the Jacksons. I saw Tito not too long ago, and I told him some Jackson stories that he didn't even know. He was so fascinated, we didn't even have time to finish our interview.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a lot of stories. We'll get to that later. We'll get to the story part later. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, there's Luther, of course, the founder of the pay. Luther says, hello, Miss Right On. He's there.
Hi, Luther. Thank you.
Uh, so let's go ahead with some questions. But you know what? Because we got somebody waiting, we have a special surprise here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that, Cynthia. You want to go ahead and
Oh, yes, we should, because we don't want
okay.
to hold this star up.
Yes. So everybody, we have a surprise for you this evening. I'm so excited to welcome this person. He's gonna pop in and visit with us just for a few minutes. We're gonna chat with him later on. He's gonna have his own chat. But he wanted to stop in and say hello to us and to Cynthia. And I just absolutely love his voice. So I'm gonna just go ahead and introduce and welcome surprise guest Christopher Williams. Hey, Chris, can you hear us okay? You look frozen on there. Christopher, can you hear us, Chris? Uh-oh. He's on his phone because I know he's traveling. So I'm trying to add you, Chris. Can you hear us? You might have to log out and log back in. If so, yeah, I think he's frozen. You must have a bad connection. It's hard when you're on your phone sometimes. So
Oh, okay.
here, Chris, you might want to log out, log back in, Mr. Williams. So we thank you for trying to join us. So hopefully we'll have you in just a minute. Yeah, he's frozen right now. So let's go ahead. Hopefully he'll
Okay. Well, we'll just chat until he pops
yes.
back up.
Yeah, so let's move along. Hopefully we'll have him back. Can you tell us who your favorite artist is to write about, or who has been your favorite artist to write about?
I shouldn't answer that question. I'll have a whole lot of people angry.
I know. You may not want to. It's okay.
I love the celebrity, so I don't have a particular favorite. There
Okay.
are some people that mean more to me than others because of other personal relationships that developed over the years. So one of my favorites that I had a personal relationship with was Janet Jackson.
Okay.
I absolutely adored her. I met her when she was 10 years old, and she still likes to hear stories about what she was like back then, because over the years, all of us forget things. So Janet, when I see her, she wants me to recall what she was like at that age. Oh, I see Christopher.
Hey, guys.
Hey, there you are. Hey, Chris.
Hey
I didn't
guys,
mean
hi
to interrupt you,
Cynthia.
Cynthia. I thought we better get him in here while we can. So
Right.
Hi Cynthia. We had some technical difficulty, but I was honored to be asked to come in and speak on your segment. I just want to say hi to everybody.
thank you for coming. What a wonderful surprise. We appreciate you stopping by, saying hello to what we call the unsung tears and to Cynthia. Thank you so much. You want to say anything directly to Cynthia? She's the lady of the hour this evening.
Hi Cynthia.
Hi, Christopher. I am so honored that you joined us. I have
Oh,
so many
my
good things
pleasure.
to say about you all the time. And of course, they're going to do their own chat with you. But one thing I think would be nice if you can just tell us what it was like when you used to be in RightOn Magazine.
Oh, yeah. Give us the
Oh,
scoop.
man. It was it was it was crazy. It was like an out of body experience. I think I said this to you once before, Cynthia. I mean, obviously now everybody knows your story, which I never knew you went to Pepperdine. So it's always interesting to hear, you know, people that you admire and that you come up under. I mean, obviously, if it wasn't for you, Cynthia, a lot of us wouldn't have had a platform. I think
Right.
single-handedly between you and Don Cornelius, that you guys made it happen for us. And I remember the first time I walked into a high school and saw my picture in a locker. And it was like the first time hearing my record on the radio. It was surreal. It was like for my generation, you guys don't know. In the '90s, if you made Right On, you made it.
I think
You
it's a
made it.
lot of generations. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
me and my generation, me and Gerald Levert, Keith Sweat, I'll be sure,
Hmm.
Johnny Gill, all the guys, we love you and we appreciate you and we know that you're the icon. You know what I mean? There'd be
Yes.
no Oprah if it wasn't for Cynthia Horner. And I say that
Hey.
boldly. I mean, you've committed your whole life to this. And I was listening to you saying like not many people have that kind of passion and zeal for the things that God has called them to do in their life. And that's really a
Mm.
blessing. And we need to see more stories about women like you.
Well, thank you.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Yeah, Christopher, that is just so great. And I really appreciate you because if it if it were not for artists like you, we would still not have the great music that we can still listen to year after year because your music stood the test of time. You could
Thank you.
take a Christopher Williams record and you could play it right now and
That's right.
everybody would dance to it. It's not like it would be played out or anything. And I think that that's why Black Music Month is so important for us to celebrate all these artists that did all this great music
Yes.
that just transcends generations.
Yeah, yeah, and it
Yes.
just marks moments in your life and songs that'll come on and remember like family reunion. For me, the OJ song "Family Reunion" is like my grandmother. Every time I hear that song, I just remember all the gatherings and the times in my life coming out with my family. So obviously, it's called Family Reunion, but the music and the expression of the story that Eddie Levert and them were telling, it resonates forever. I mean, you just brought up Michael Jackson, and of course, everyone loves Michael Jackson and him being such an influence to all of us. But I'll never forget when I first heard his voice say, "Everybody loves a star when he's on the top, but no one ever comes around when he starts to drop." And I
Mm.
remember saying, "What is that? Not even who is that?" And then seeing this mini person with all that talent, it just gave all of us. He just was preparing a journey for us in music of history and all the branches and people that he touched, including the icon Cynthia Horner. So,
Mm. Very
resting in
nicely said.
paradise, Michael. And sometimes when I think about Michael Whitney and Prince, it's kind of like, and even Gerald Levert because he was personally like my brother, but it's kind of bittersweet. It kind of is parallel with where we are in the world, and that's why we got to celebrate the real gems that we come across in our lifetime because life can be short. It's a glimpse, and
Hmm.
to witness Michael Jackson, Prince, Whitney Houston, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, and all these supernovas, Kobe Bryant in one lifetime, and Cynthia Horner is amazing. So we have to cherish them, and we have to realize what we really witness, and we really never do until it's gone, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's a sad thing. And you mentioned Whitney Houston and Prince, and I miss all of them.
Me
and
too.
they were the greatest. You know, they were in
Yes,
their own, they were in their own category, and I
they
think
were.
they're in heaven now, probably looking down on us. And I know they would be proud of me because I did whatever I could do to help the artists through positivity,
Yes,
negativity, positivity, because I always believe that artists need to be celebrated, not torn down. And that's why the name Right On is so important, because that is the ultimate symbol of positivity.
that's very
Me.
true. That was Christopher. You couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much for popping in. We
Thank you, guys.
it's such a pleasant surprise. So I look forward to chatting with you and you sharing your story soon. I'll be in touch with you so we can schedule and you can come on. We're going to talk about you too. Okay.
Much love, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. Thanks for joining us. All right. That was awesome. What a nice surprise.
Oh, he's so great. I can't say enough good things about him. He's absolutely incredible. And I know that when you have your chat with him, it fans are just going to go crazy.
Yes. Well, you have got a few people. We got some questions and comments over here I want to share with you. Miss Melissa Morgan is here. She's hello, and she remembers the first time in RightOn Magazine, Cynthia gave me a pull-out poster. So she's,
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. She is such an incredible singer.
oh my goodness, yes, I
Hi,
love Melissa.
Lisa.
Hey, Melissa, thanks for joining us. Um, Uncle Gregory Williams is here. He's,
Hi, Greg.
he said, "You're looking good." Where's his comment? There we go. Looking good, Cindy. Love your hair. That's what Uncle Greg said.
Oh, thank you. I just love that Gregory Williams, founder and leader of the group Switch.
That's right.
Switch had appeared many times in Right On Magazine. They were recently featured in the Bobby DeBarge story, which came on TV1. But that's another story.
Yes, that could be a whole nother hour.
Yes,
Yes.
that's one area where if you're not that familiar with Switch, you just go back to your music collection. They had some of the greatest,
That's right.
greatest songs.
That's right.
I Call Your Name.
Yes, and we're going to have Switch is going to be coming soon to chat with us as well, so they can switch their questions. So let's see if we got any more comments before I move on with some questions. I did see. Hang on. I got to go back up because it's moving fast. First time from Christopher. Hi, Christopher. Okay. Keith is asking, what was your most satisfying moment while working at RightOn?
There is not one most satisfying moment. There were so many moments. I mean, every month, so many things happen. It was an exciting place to work because you never knew what would happen from day to day. But I'll tell you about some of the fun things that used to happen. I got to go on a lot of trips because the celebrities had big budgets back in the day, and they would fly me wherever to attend concerts or just meet them, do interviews. So I went to Europe quite a few times. Prince performed in Europe. I got to see him over there. I went on tour with Michael Jackson.
Oh, wow.
And that was a very interesting time because Michael Jackson was at the height of his popularity. So he had me staying in a hotel with him, and the rest of the crew and the rest of the people that worked for him, they all stayed in another hotel. So a lot of people thought that I was Janet because I was able to interact with Michael and be in his hotel. So everywhere we went in foreign countries, people would say, "Is that Michael Jackson's sister?" You know,
oh, wow.
It was actually me. So and then I also was treated to quite a few parties that were held by record company executives. One of the biggest was one that Sean Combs had for me. And he had as many A-list people as he could fit into this small venue because we were using Justin's, a restaurant that he owned at the time.
I'm familiar.
So his guest list for my birthday party, which he made like a sweet 16 party because I don't drink. So he had Shirley Temple drinks for me,
Very
and
nice.
everything was pink. And he had Mariah Carey as our hostess.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Heavy D was our bodyguard to watch the door. And he had Brandy, he had Mace, he had Kelly Price, Missy Elliott, Little Kim, Lauryn Hill. All these important people were all there to celebrate me, and they had all these great presents that I still own.
Okay.
Gave me diamond earrings from Tiffany's.
Who did?
Mariah Carey.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and SWV gave this huge bouquet of flowers to decorate the table. That was a really amazing night.
It sounds like it. Was that Justin's here in Atlanta? Was that in Atlanta?
No, it was the one in New York.
New York? Okay.
Yeah, and another time I had a big party that was thrown by Russell Simmons, Andre Harrell, and Tyrone Williams from Cold Chillin' Records. And they had artists like the Fat Boys and all those artists from back in that era.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Performed. That was an amazing experience. And there's just so many amazing experiences. You'll have to read my book when it comes out next year, and that'll tell more.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but it was always a lot of fun. It was work. Don't get me wrong. A whole lot of work.
Oh, I'm sure.
Really late hours most of the time. Like sometimes 8 to 10 hour shifts. We're definitely working on the weekends because that's when a lot of TV shows taped. When I was living in California, I split my time on the weekends going to Soul Train, where they would tape several shows in a weekend, and the rest of the time I was over the Jacksons' house.
So was it easy working with the Jacksons? Someone had asked the question, were they easy to work with?
Well, I became family to them like immediately.
I thought so.
We're all from Indiana. I guess that the Indiana teams helped a lot. We're all Rangers, but for me it was easy because I'm a very humble person. So I don't want to seem like I have the biggest ego in the room. I would
not at all
back and let them do what they had to do. But they enjoyed being around me because I gave a different perspective on life, and they loved hearing all my stories about what I did at the magazine. And they would even come to the office and visit. In fact, there's a picture that will appear in my book of Janet sitting on my lap typing an article.
Oh, that's priceless.
They wanted to feel like they were working at the magazine too.
Oh, that's priceless.
Yeah.
Let me read. You have a comment. Cynthia has always been so generous with promoting R&B music. Let's see. Let's see if we got any more. Okay, so let me go ahead. Do you have a special photo shoot moment?
Not really, because we did photos all the time.
Okay.
There's one photo that I do look at more than others. There's a photo of me wearing a sweatsuit from this company called Elise, and Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, they had them too. The company gave all three of us sneakers and these sweatsuits to wear for a photo session. And that was a really cool photo session. I'll never forget that. And then there's another photo session that we did with Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, who is at least a foot taller than me. So therefore, I look so tiny in the photo, and he looked so tall. And that's a really cute photo. And I've got a lot of great photos of myself with Michael Jackson.
Okay. Oh, I'm sure that you are just a wealth of knowledge. I could listen to your stories literally all night, Cynthia. You have so many great stories. And I'm sure you'll be able to share some more as we go on. But let me ask this, and everyone that is here, feel free to ask your questions to Cynthia, and I'll read them to her as well. But let me ask, let's get back to some stuff about you. Is there anyone have not interviewed, but you would like to?
Yeah, there are a few, not too many people, but I would like to interview Kendrick Lamar. The only reason
Mm.
why I didn't get to him is because by the time Kendrick Lamar had emerged on the scene, I was working with a hip hop magazine, and somebody else just happened to do that interview. But I need
Okay.
my own interview with Kendrick Lamar. I also did not get a chance to interview Chance the Rapper yet. And I'm very fascinated about his story because he's one of the only rappers that did not have a record deal, but yet he was able to get endorsements and do all these really great things because he had such a wonderful team behind him. And he was doing so much positive stuff that they wanted to make sure he really blew up. So
Hmm.
I want to interview him too. Most
Okay.
of the other people I've interviewed a few times. I've interviewed most of the people that have ever been in R&B music, as well
Wow.
as people on these different television shows, these reality shows and
Hmm.
sitcoms and movies and everything.
Okay. That's great because I didn't know if there was anyone left that you hadn't interviewed actually. So I
Yeah,
was,
there's a few because these days, a lot of artists don't even get involved with a lot of interviews. They just put music out on the internet, and that's basically all they really do. They don't really concentrate on interviews that much. But since we now have RightOn Digital, which is our media site owned by our family, we have many opportunities to get all these newcomers on our site, and we've been doing that. In fact,
yes.
there's going to be a great interview that posts on Monday with Tamar Braxton, who has a long history with Right On because
Oh,
in a family group on Arista Records, and we were the first to ever promote the Braxtons. So she has a
okay.
show on VH1, and it's all about hair and hair disasters. And in
Okay.
that interview, we talk about what her favorite hairstyle is and all kinds of other things. And I just love the fact that she's still so friendly and nice. And she was sick that day, but she told her publicist, I want to talk to Cynthia anyway, even though I don't feel my best. And I made her feel a lot better.
Oh, that's wonderful. I have the feeling you're good at that. Now, Uncle Gregory Williams has just said, is somebody has a TV on in the background. Is that because we can hear the background noise? So we want to, yep. Thank you, Uncle Greg, for saying that. I think it's gone. Something, there was some noise. So,
Do you still hear the noise?
yes, sounds like someone talking.
Yep, I know who that is. That's somebody here.
Okay. Okay.
See, I can't get up to do anything about it.
That's okay. We'll just keep going. What, since you mentioned Right On Digital, can you go ahead and tell us that you've worked at different magazines? We know about Right On, and now
Yeah.
it's Right On Digital. So can you give us a little information on that and also bring us up to speed with Right On Digital?
Well, I was one of the founding editors of Hip Hop Weekly. It was a magazine that came out every 2 weeks. Almost drove me crazy staying up all night writing those articles. But
Mm,
I did that for a while, for several years. I was the first editor they ever had for that particular publication. Um, I was a publisher for Word Up magazine for a
okay.
while. It used to be a competitor of Right On's, but at some point I took that over.
Okay.
So I've done that. But Right On has always remained close to my heart. I took a break from it for about 4 years, but I couldn't stay away from it. And
Okay.
so I ended up coming back. But I also do grown up things. I have a PR firm called Cinnamon Chips, and we represent different artists and all.
Okay. I love that name.
Yeah, yeah. Cinnamon Chips has an interesting name. It's called Cinnamon Chips because when I decided I was going to have a PR firm, I didn't know what to call it. So my mother, as a joke, said, what's your favorite candy? And I said, I like Red Hot, so cinnamon imperial.
Oh, yes. I know.
So I said, okay, why don't I take cinnamon? And
Mhm.
then CHIPS is an acronym for Cynthia Horner's Independent Production Services. And
Love it.
thought of that. So we just put the two together.
Some
Yeah.
of your favorite things, yes. And I love cinnamon, so I can relate to that.
Oh, yeah. My favorite candies. I shouldn't really eat them, but I do.
We got a couple of questions here. What was your most memorable interview and why?
Um, Probably, well, I'm most associated with what I did with Prince. So that I would say the interviews with Prince kind of made my career because
Okay.
that's what I'm really known for, because he didn't do interviews
Right.
back in the day. He sought me out and wanted me to do these interviews. And so that was, I would say, Prince. Also Stevie Wonder. I had an
Mm.
interview with him that lasted 4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, he wouldn't let me go. He was fascinated with my voice. In fact, he started recording it on his equipment.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, because he was just really fascinated. He thought it was the most interesting voice. See, my voice is my calling card. Everyone asks me about my voice, and I can't
Mhm.
say much about it except to say I'm from Indiana, and that's sort of my accent.
Okay, well, I don't really hear an accent, but I love your voice. But the fact that Stevie Wonder was infatuated with it was is pretty cool, and you had to talk to him for 4 hours, period, for whatever the reason. I think
Oh yeah. And
that's awesome.
there's been others. Barry White was a great artist and he was a great person to interview. And one time I was on a TV show and he happened to be watching the show and he said that he heard me talking and they asked me who was your one of your favorite people to interview, and he was sitting there with several other celebrities and everyone said, oh, Cynthia's gonna say me. And then I said Barry White, and he said that they all just fell on the floor laughing. And he was so excited that I mentioned him, because out of all the people that I could have mentioned at that time, I mentioned him. But he was a great person, and I'm so sorry he passed away a few years ago. But
Right.
I'm going to mention him in my book because I will never forget his kindness when I first started out at the magazine.
Oh, that's wonderful. I can't wait for this book to come out.
Yeah. I just
Uh,
can't finish it. I never know where, I don't know what should be my closing part of the book. There's just so many celebrities that I could mention, so many experiences. I might have to do 3 books.
you just might. I was gonna say you might have a couple volumes in there over the years.
Mhm.
So much content. Um, Greg said, "Don't forget Sisters in Style magazine."
Oh, I had forgotten about that. We had Sisters in Style. Gregory Williams worked on that with me. And that was a magazine where we featured a lot of beauty, um, hair, just all things style. And we had some
Okay.
really great people for our covers. We had people like Tia and Tamara Mowry from
Mhm.
Sister Sister. We gave them their first grown-up photo session, and they were on the
Okay.
cover. Tyra Banks was the person that was on our very first cover, and that made USA Today and all kinds of publications. So that's what made me want to do some PR, because I was able to get our magazine, our new magazine at that, so much coverage.
Okay. Wonderful. And here's a question. Did you ever interview or meet the Obamas?
No, I did not, but I did get to go to the White House. I went with
Okay.
my husband, Ken Harris, who is also known as Ken the photographer, and he's involved with RightOn Digital as well. He's one of the partners of RightOn Digital. And we did go to the White House because we were helping publicize mindless behavior at the time. That was a teen group,
I
and they were
remember, yes.
to perform at the White House, so we got to go, and it was fantastic. I got to meet John Lithgow. He was at the White House because they had him reading stories to children. and Kelly Ripa was there, and I met Sasha Obama, and I met Malia Obama.
Okay.
We all took photos. Willow Smith was there, so all of us did this one big photo session, and I was so exhausted that I had taken my shoes off. And I told the photographers, I said, "Don't anyone shoot my feet." So
Okay.
naturally, everybody took pictures that showed me barefoot. And when I said, "Don't look at my bare feet," the first thing Willow Smith did was say, "Oh, I want to see, where are your shoes?" I said, "I don't even know. They're somewhere on this White House lawn."
That's a great. You've got some great stories, Cynthia. I'm loving this. Absolutely loving it. So let me go back to Right On because there was a question that I didn't get a chance to ask, even though I kind of already know the answer. Who did the most Right On covers? I don't think we.
The Jacksons.
Of course, yes.
The Jacksons. Well,
Uh,
starting with the Jackson Five, then they were the Jacksons, and then we had Michael solo, and we had Janet solo, we had Jermaine solo. So the Jacksons dominated the magazine for many, many, many years. And then after a while, we had New Edition, LL Cool J, Will Smith. And then as the years went on, all these other celebrities, Tupac, Biggie, a lot of icons that have now passed away, they all made many covers, made a lot of money for the magazine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. And me and a lot of other people want to thank you for all those Jackson covers, Jackson family. We appreciate that. The fans they had, which is almost everyone. I know I had quite a few on my wall, those centerfolds and posters. Greg said you introduced Megan Good and then Casey and JoJo and others.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
there's just been so many people. It's like the Right On, it's like the big Right On fan club,
Absolutely.
And a lot of the artists, now that we have social media, some of them try to reach me through Twitter or Facebook.
Mhm.
Um, I'll remember not too long ago, I'll Be Sure tried to reach me through Twitter, and I didn't think it was him at first, so I didn't respond. And he just kept trying until one day I said, "Okay, let me
Respond.
keep on and write back and see what happens." And it turned out it really was I'll Be Sure.
Oh, okay. So I'm glad you responded to him.
Yeah, LL Cool J, same thing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the artists back in the day, they had to go through publicists to get to me.
Right.
They didn't
Right.
have any direct contact. So now that we have social media, a lot of them
Right.
are trying to reach me to say hi. And they're just happy that I'm still around because there's so many
Yes.
people that have passed away. And I'm just
Yes.
fortunate that I'm still here.
Yes. It's a blessing, and we're happy you're here too. We appreciate all that you've done. Um, let me ask this. It's Black Music Month, so we want to kind of talk about that a little bit. What does Black Music Month mean to you?
Well, Black Music Month is a way for us to celebrate all of these great artists that have been here. Many of them are no longer here, but we can listen to their recordings. I think the Black Music Month is important because sometimes people say, "Why just one month?" Well, it's not that it shouldn't be every month of the year, but June is just a special time. And I
Mhm.
think that everyone needs to understand we have to support Black music. If we don't support our own, who do we expect to support it? You
Right.
know?
That's so true.
And the thing is, most of us are here because of being part of the fans of Unsung. And I feel that all Black artists are unsung
Hmm.
because I don't think that there is one artist out here that ever got their just due, not even Michael Jackson. A lot of people
Mm.
do not know all the charity work that he's done, or anything like that. Sometimes people just look for the gossip about these stars, but all of these people meant something. So we need to
Mm.
do something to honor them. If that means buying a record of theirs,
Right.
That means supporting a movie they were in, or just do something. Even writing to them or following them on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, that
Hmm.
often helps these celebrities to just know that
Yes.
people remember who they are and supporting what their endeavors are. Or buying a
True.
ticket to a concert, you know?
Right. Yes, I can appreciate everything you're saying. And
Yeah,
this platform we want to use to support them in some way, just to acknowledge them and support them and thank them for the wonderful music that we've enjoyed over all these years.
right.
You wrote about them, and we appreciate that. We were able to learn more and kind of come into their life because of what you wrote and learn so much about them. And now here we are years later. We want to still support them because a lot of them are still performing and are still there.
Right.
So much of themselves back then. We need to really still support them. And we want to use this platform to do that. And Black Music Month is officially in June, but fans of Unsung and our page, along with Luther, the founder, want to celebrate them all the time throughout the year and with the chats as well. So we want to continue doing that. So we thank you for all you've done with Black music, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't know a lot of these artists. You know, nobody else was writing about them back then.
No, and even now, you're
Oh,
not
yeah.
seeing the coverage that you should on some of these artists, and it
Yes.
makes me so angry. But then I say, well, we do have Right on Digital, so
Yes.
www.rightOn digital.com, and you can read about different people there.
Absolutely. Yes. So we got your website. So people need to go and check that out. And then there's also a Facebook page, correct?
Yes, yes, you can go to Right On Digital. That's a Facebook page. And there's also a Right On Magazine Facebook page. So we post
Okay.
anything that posts on the website, we send links to those Facebook sites so that you can log on and read about those celebrities or whatever news that we have. And Right on Digital is great because we're covering a lot of social justice now. And that's
Okay.
a big topic. And that's very important. And a lot of these artists are very interested in social justice, which is very different. They weren't like that back in the day, but they are now.
Yes. Someone just commented, this country loves our culture, but unfortunately doesn't really love us. So the acknowledgement isn't there. True.
Mhm. No, the acknowledgement isn't there, but we can't give up and we
Right.
can't get discouraged. We can't feel defeated. We can
Mm.
just push forward. We
Yes.
can't get lost in the negativity. We have to remain positive and we have to be productive. We have to be as ready for any opportunity as we can and don't think that we can't do something. My
Right.
parents always taught me forget about the word can't. Don't have it in your vocabulary. You have
Yes.
to try. And
Yes.
that's what we have to do. We cannot get discouraged by various incidents that have happened. We just have to move forward.
Right. Amen to that. So let me ask you this. We have got a couple more minutes left, and there's a lot going on in the world right now. And we've also lost, some icons, some music icons. Can you talk about some of those that we have lost recently, and if you had any stories or you just want to share a little bit about them? I had three down, but there may be others you want to talk about. And the first one I'll say is Bill Withers, because and I loved Bill Withers and his music.
Bill Withers was the most incredible artist. He was unsung too. A lot of people never really knew his history, but they knew his songs. Lovely
Mhm.
Day is one of my very favorite songs that
Yes.
he ever recorded. Most
Yes.
people like Ain't No Sunshine, but Lovely Day is my favorite song of his. And there's an artist by the name of Anthony David, who actually recorded a lot of Bill Withers material and put that out as a CD. So you all should look
Okay.
for that because it's a great body of work. Um, Also, Bill Withers is the father of one of our writers,
Mm.
Brown. So I once I found out her dad had passed away, I immediately contacted her to express my condolences. And I told her that I'm going to make sure that Bill Withers continues to live on because Beyonce and many other artists were very influenced by him. So I want to make sure that
Yes.
younger audiences out there understand the significance of Bill Withers. And then
Yes.
Betty Wright also
Pretty right.
passed away. I was very sad about that. She was always so nice to us. She was just like such a down to earth person. That's the only way I can really explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And he had Unsung on TV One recently. So if you haven't had a chance to see it,
Yes, it was great.
you'll see people like Angie Stone on there talking about her. And then we also lost Andre Harrell, who was a close friend of mine back in the day. If it were not for Andre Harrell, I don't know how certain artists ever would have surfaced, because I remember when Jodeci actually jumped in a car and drove up from North Carolina to try to meet with Andre Harrell to see about getting a record deal. And well, there were only 3 people from the group willing to come at the time, but then, well, the 4th member, Mr. Dalvin, jumped in at the last minute so that he could get to New York also. And once they got to New York and Andre Harrell heard their voices, of course, he definitely wanted to work with them.
Yes.
And he had Sean Combs, who was working for Bad Boy at the time. He had him working with him on the styling and the imagery and the music. And then RightOn came in and put them on a cover, and the rest was history.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Andre Harrell was great at finding talent.
Yes.
Andre Harrell was the person that introduced me to Mary J. Blige. And
Okay.
he said, she's going to be a superstar and you've got to be in on the beginning of it. So that's how
Wow.
we met Mary J. Blige, of course, Heavy D and the Boys,
Yes.
so many other artists. You know, it's just a shame that he's not here. But he has a BET mini series on Uptown
Yes.
Records that will be coming out, and I just wish he could have been there to actually see it, but he
Mm-hmm.
kind of knew how it would be, so he'll be looking down on us when it actually airs.
Yes. Thank you for that, Cynthia. Cynthia, can you tell everybody what that is hanging on your wall in the back?
Yeah, that's a platinum record from Tommy Boy Records for Naughty by Nature. New
Oh,
Jersey.
OPP.
Yeah, Jersey's in the house. I've got so many of these things. But I have that one up because for quite a while I lived in New Jersey, and Naughty by Nature is from East Orange, New Jersey. And I have nothing but good things to say about Naughty by Nature. But I do have quite a few plaques from different artists, and I appreciate them. They don't really give those out anymore, but back in the day, I was somebody that got lots of them.
That's wonderful. So were they gifts to you, or did you work on
Yeah,
projects, or okay?
yeah, they were gifts.
That's nice. Very nice.
Primarily because RightOn, we were so instrumental in what was going on with these artists. But some of my plaques are different. Some are more custom made
Okay.
specifically for me. Like I have a Janet Jackson one that where she looks like a little paper doll cutout on it, and I have that hanging up in my living room as well. I've got some from Michael Jackson. I have one from Michael Jackson that was only given to me and John Jansen from the founder of Ebony Magazine, and
Okay.
that one is very important to me too. But I love all of them. One of the iconic ones I have is from Death Row Records. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, because of Dr. Dre and the Chronic.
Yes.
Yeah, there's quite
Well,
a few stories about all these different plaques.
oh, yeah, I'm sure we would love to hear those. That'd be another time we get together. You might have to just show us all of them and give us the story behind them, because there's stories behind all of it. But you write about all these artists and you tell stories about them. So you're so good at it, and that's why you are where you are right now. We appreciate all that you've done over all of the years. We are about out of time. So, do you have anything else you'd like to share with us before we leave and before we toast to you?
Yeah, I want everyone to start going to rightondigital.com
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
read the articles there. And I also want to thank you for having me here, because this is such an important platform. And I think that everyone needs to be giving a toast to the fans unsung and the founders and Tanya, Holly,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
Luther.
thank you. Thank you. Yes, Luther is wonderful. He had the
You
vision of
know,
starting
he's
this.
almost like my publicist. He's always trying to make sure
Yes.
people know about me. It's so great.
Yes, he loves you. Yes, he's
Yeah, and
wonderful.
I just want everyone to realize that Black media matters. Just like Black lives matter, Black media matters too.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
And
we want to continue supporting you too, Cynthia, and all your endeavors.
well, thank you.
So, were you about to say something else?
Well, not really. I have
Okay.
plenty I could say. Oh, yes. I wanted to let people know, if they ever wanted to know who was my role model growing up, Alex Haley, who
Yes.
is the author of Roots.
Yes.
And prior to that, he worked on the autobiography of Malcolm X. And when I found out that there was a Black person that worked on that book, I wanted to meet him, because when I started out, you didn't have Black writers, you didn't have Black authors that really came into prominence.
Mm-hmm.
So I just looked at Alex Haley as somebody that could be a kind of like a beacon of light to me. And I
Mm-hmm.
actually got to meet him before he died, and I got to
Oh,
tell him.
wonderful.
And he was just so excited, because he said, "But you're at RightOn Magazine." And I said, "But if it weren't for you, maybe I never would have been at RightOn Magazine."
Oh, that is wonderful. I'm glad you shared that story, because there may be some folks, if we have some younger folks that don't know who Alex is, or we grew up with Roots, and when the movie came and the book and all of that. So I'm so glad you shared that. That was great to hear. There's one more question. The person, the name's not sure. It says, I know know she's taught at LIU and Essex County College. Are you an adjunct professor? I didn't know you taught. So,
I don't teach that often, and
okay.
I would like to. I have a couple of people that have told me that maybe I could do some work, maybe over at Old Westbury in New York, or maybe somewhere in Rockland County. But with the pandemic, I haven't been able to really follow up on it. But I do enjoy teaching, as long as the students enjoy learning.
Okay. That's wonderful. I didn't know. That was a best kept secret. And you have someone, Gina Clark Gudger says, thanks for making my dream come true, meeting you.
Oh, that's great.
How sweet. Yes.
Yeah, and if
And
people want to get in contact with me, they can always reach me through Twitter or through RightOn Digital, and
yes.
they could try to write to me, and then I could try to write back.
Wonderful. And everyone, if you missed any of this, you can catch this. I will be posting the link, and it'll be a YouTube link. You can go straight to that. It'll be on the Fans of Us Sung page. Also, the KAMDI group, which sponsors this, my business sponsors these chats. You can go to that page and Cynthia's pages as well. So please support and subscribe to the pages, like them. Everybody needs the numbers and followers. Black Media Matters, yes. I like that. We're going to hold on to that one, Cynthia. Somebody just put that in the comments. So thank you for all that you have done, Cynthia, all that you're doing and all that you're going to do. We salute you. I'm going to do a virtual toast for you now. We salute you for Black Music Month and for you being here with us. Thank you so much for your time and your talent. Please continue to do what you do, because you do it so well. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. You too. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.